I'm curious, uh, do they think it's okay for the government to break the law? Or, or do they realize that the reason someone like I support Snowden and think that it's necessary, and even if there's things wrong, even if it was an evil, it's like a necessary evil. See, it's because I don't think my government is following proper procedures. They seem to think that if you want to break a law, you just do it in secret. If somebody reveals the secret, they're the criminal. Break the law. What I'm curious about is if people really believe the things they're talking about, or if that's just cover argumentation to keep people back. And what I mean is, I don't come here to change people's opinion. I come here to scan other people's opinion. Now by and find out what they are. And since it only seems fair to tell people my opinion in the process. But a lot of the opinion I tell is actually like radar, is the way I would see it. And how it bounces back off you tells me things. And I can do this over time and from various angles and things like that. Hi, Todd. By the uncertainty principle, of course, if you scan something, you might affect it. Finding out how somebody believes might change. And I think a lot of the reactions I get have to do with that. But, I'm collecting attitudes because I can't imagine, like, people think that it's okay for the government to break the law, basically. It's like, oh, it has to spy on the end. Everybody does it. Then why do we make a law saying we don't? Why? Because we lie to the people. No, it's just a tradition. I don't, and so I'm curious, like, if somebody would say, well, why they think that? And of course, the contest becomes they don't want to put it that way. They don't want to say the government has to do illegal things, and it's a way of hiding what they really believe, the value argument. This is politics. People can be fully informed and come down on different sides because of their value system, their personal value system. That should be obvious, and in a democracy, that should be one of your assumptions. You shouldn't think, you can argue somebody and show their facts are wrong, but unless they share your value system, that proves nothing, right? So you have to find out what the value system is. See, it's like two young earth creationists arguing about evolution. And the details of they can convince each other because they're working from common values. Okay? So you need to find out, and especially internationally, which is, to say the least, somewhat lawless, you have to find out what people's value systems are. And I'm curious what Skept and that other guy's name, whatever's unseen perfidy. I'm curious, do they think it's okay for the government to break the law? Or, or do they realize that the reason someone like I support Snowden and think that it's necessary, and even if there's things wrong, even if it was an evil, it's like a necessary evil. See, it's because I don't think my government is following proper procedures. They seem to think that if you want to break a law, you just do it in secret. If somebody reveals the secret, they're the criminal. And I don't believe that. Does someone like Skeptical Heretic know that that's a value judgment? Or does he think, well, no, if you knew all the details, then your value judgment would change. If you knew that the Supreme Court had said that this was illegal and that was it, then you would know blah, blah. Well, that's different. If we're trying to push for somebody to be prosecuted, then what we have to do is we have to, at least in principle, we adopt the value system of the court system in which it's going to be tried, the standards of evidence, its rules, and even its precedents. And then we can argue which it's going to be. But even then, I mean, is that a war crime? Well, you mean if it went into some international court? You have to have the case, the panel of judges that judge it, It's not the kind of situation where, somebody orders a latte and gets a frappuccino. Is that a war crime? No, obviously not. But the collateral murder thing, there's some judgment calls to be made. Can people not see that? I mean, I see that. People that disagree with me, I check to see if they have the facts. But then there's a point at which, it's only to see if that makes a difference. And you see some facts don't matter to them. So, that's my curiosity, is just, where's that come from, and where do they draw the line? Um, and then in general, just my value system is that, this is a democracy. We don't elect parents or leaders even. We elect representatives and executives. And we are the boss of that. We are the ultimate authority. So I would, for example, a principle like that, a value like that leads to the idea that you might want to have your legal system, your laws and the precedents and interpretation of them set up. So, if somebody reveals something the government's done, that would actually it'd be, private businesses have trade secrets that should be protected, right? The government, though, if somebody reveals something that is illegal, that has to be prosecuted if you want to prosecute the guy that revealed the information, right? It has to be. The other guy gets immunity if you don't prosecute the crimes he revealed. How about that? You make a compromise. So I just believe in open society. It's a value system. It's where we judge which interpretations of our current laws we want to go with, and which precedents and which laws. And the laws are changing, right? These are full-grown people. They've seen the laws change. They know sometimes the law gets broken and somebody supports it as civil disobedience or just necessary evil or whatever it takes. Surely they know this, and they know there's a value judgment discussion. I don't see the value of coming online, finding an idiot, and then making them feel stupid, because it just seems like, well, I must be pretty weak if that was my hobby. I can't get into that. I'm here to find out how other citizens think. And, it's really my curiosity, but if I was to explain why I find it beneficial, it's like I live in a democracy. I want to know there's people out here electing people like Lindsey Graham over and over and over. I find it difficult, without the internet, just staying to myself. I find it difficult. Just asking my group of friends, what do you think? That nobody knows how those people are thinking. People that support Sarah Palin or whatever. How the fuck are they thinking? I have to go out and find that out. It's not obvious. It's not easy for me to come up with, well, maybe it's this. Because even if I'm right and had the fundamental reason, it's like I'm still curious, like, well, what do they think they're thinking? What do they think? In looking at this, I found a lot of people, for example, support the Republican Party because they actually buy that they're for small government and staying out of people's business. I guess they don't pay much attention. I mean, you could learn history and find out better, but you could also just pay attention to politics while you're alive, and within a decade or two find out better. I'm curious to see what people think they're thinking, right? Because they get a vote. They get to vote from their value system. And straighten everybody's facts out, that's great. And we should do that. I like getting my facts straightened out. And I don't forget them and keep straightening them, and that's all fine and dandy. But that's just so you can get to the value judgment. And it's like, do you believe we should torture our prisoners? No cruel and unusual punishment. Well, but, they're getting raped by the inmates. Oh, that's funny. It's like people need to get to their value system. And I think a lot of people are frightened of that. A lot of people that do this hobby of, I'm going to find an idiot so I can feel smart. And they might seem, some of them are idiots themselves, and many of them, like Skeptical Heretic, very smart. I think he is smart. But he wanders into this place. Why? And I don't really know in his case, but I think in general, it's to avoid the value arguments. And it's funny because when you state your values, it usually feels pretty good. If somebody else has different values, it's better than them lying to you. I mean, it's kind of a good thing, but the problem is that people want to say, well, my values against torture, we don't do that. And then they go, well, of course we had to. They're guilty. We can't try them. They're guilty. We should have justice in the legal system. Yeah, of course, people should be able to prove they're innocent, right? Yeah. What do you think of Guantanamo? Well, you got to do what you got to do. So they don't want to state their real value system, because you can only lie so much. If you're supporting one thing and talking about values at the same time, it's going to become clear where your values really lie. A lot of people that support the covert actions and secret government stuff, I think, they think all that stuff's necessary. They're Machiavellian, but they want to pretend to be, secular humanists. Life is sacred and all this. They don't want to have to put themselves down as saying they believe that stuff is necessary. I'm willing to say that. And I would rather deal with the truth about the values than do this thing where we have terrible values in action and our solution is, well, okay, those things you do in secret. Here's our values. And what their values means is things you do in public, things you do in the open. What do you do in secret? Whatever it takes. It's like, let's get on one page. Let's put ourselves on a page, I believe not wanting to intervene in Syria is an example of my thing where I'm willing to say something you could call a Machiavellian. It's not in our best interest. We're incompetent. We're not going to help. We can't afford it. They need to take care of it themselves. But it's terrible. Yeah, I know. So I'm willing to be on the record of things like that. And I think as a result, I minimize them. And to me, I don't think that we need so much covert operation. It's ridiculous that our cities are falling down and we're spending, it was revealed by Snowden, $57 billion on this kind of wasted spying that they don't even make good use of, right? They don't, just on a competency level, they're not capable of using that information. So giving them the money to collect it can't be justified unless they're good at using it. But in principle, it's in there. Not good enough, So that's a part of it. And then there's just the value system. I don't believe we should do that. And if we do it, I want it done in the open. Because if I have to compromise and go, well, we voted, we argued, we had the public debate, I lost, they're spending my tax money spying on us. Well, I think I have the right to at least know I lost that battle and be told what's going on. And I understand the people that disagree with me probably do so from a different value system and not because of the facts they lack. No doubt they lack some facts, just as we all do. But I don't really think that's why they disagree with me. I think it's the value system.